weaponized drones in action. Drug cartels using the sophisticated and dangerous drones against each other. Our Allie Bradley, the first to break this story. She joins us live from Del Rio, Texas with an exclusive look. Allie, before I toss it over to you, I should note the president and the prime minister, any moment now when that happens, we'll dip in. But this video that you got, a News Nation exclusive tonight.
Yeah, so Blake, down here, the energy, we've talked about the morale shifting a lot, but now the energy is shifting to this kind of like heightened alert for law enforcement down here following the authorization of those weaponized drones. And full disclosure, I've been covering this for nearly 4 years. Never really felt unsafe that I needed protective gear. And yeah, now I've got a bulletproof vest down here for me and my team because we don't know what we're going to encounter. We don't know how the cartel is going to be operating. So check out this video that we were able to obtain through our sources that shows these bomb-wielding drones in action. So this drone literally goes over top of these vehicles. It's a convoy of vehicles you can see right there. And you can quite literally see a bomb drop from this drone and actually make contact down there. And what we've learned here is they believe that this is cartel on cartel fighting there. And that's what the concern is, that that fighting is going to spill over into the United States. Blake, right now, they're not able to make that $13 billion they were making by moving people into the country illegally because those numbers have plummeted. A 75% decrease down here at the border. So how are they making money? So they're operating in these unprecedented ways like what we're seeing right there on the screen. It's just a couple hours south from where we're standing here. And then you consider what happened in August. We actually reported that on the other side of Arizona, they had bomb-wielding drones over there, but they weren't necessarily threatening agencies on this side, Blake. So they're looking at, head on a swivel right now, continuing to pray for the agents and officers down here because we don't know what we're going to see down here, Blake.
Wow, our Allie Bradley.
Where we are because we lost the presidential election and we lost 2 houses in November. We have a lot more tools in majority than we do in minority. I'm very happy in Virginia because the first big race that's going to show America what it thinks about a new Trump term is the governor's race in Virginia in November. If you are here and you're a Virginian, in that opening round, let's show the American public a right direction to counter the wrong direction.
We must resist. We must be in the streets. We must take every possible action to stop what is happening. Musk has no right, cannot have the information from the Treasury, cannot have it. The Department of Education is next, the Department of Labor. Resistance all across this nation. We must not let it happen. Right now, we know that across the world, USAID employees are brought back. We know that the programs are being shut down. Don't let it happen. Resist at every motion.
We will fight legally. We will fight procedurally, and we will also fight legislatively. From the House of Representatives to the United States Senate, we will be introducing legislation to stop this assault on our Constitution and separation of powers. And lest you think I'm naive, do not categorize this as a left-to-right fight. This is not about left or right, it's about right and wrong.
And President Donald Trump's return to the White House has reignited America's fiercest political battle on immigration. With mass deportations now underway and sanctuary cities under attack, Democratic leaders are pushing back and hard. In New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy made a shocking admission about sheltering an asylum seeker, triggering legal threats from the White House border czar. Meanwhile, in California, Attorney General Rob Bonta is vowing to protect immigrants and LGBTQ+ students from ICE arrests and deportations. How far will this fight go? Our next report brings you all the details.
The second Trump presidency has begun with the familiar battle cry: immigration crackdown at all costs. And since the president's orders, in just 2 weeks, ICE has deported 8,000 people. And even border crossings attempts have dropped by 60%. Trump's executive orders have removed previous restrictions, making anyone living in the country illegally a target. And even sanctuary city leaders are now at risk. The message is clear: cooperate or face consequences. Now adhering to their promise, the crackdown is swift. The fear is real, but in deep blue states, the resistance is mounting. And nowhere is the tension clearer than in New Jersey. At a recent panel discussion, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy made stunning confession. He hinted that he and his wife have considered housing an undocumented migrant in their home.
Tammy and I were talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
After his remarks, the audience fell silent, but the backlash was instant. Critics erupted demanding his arrest. "This is sick," one person wrote. "I hope ICE goes after him," another added. Even Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, wasted no time in responding and threatened legal action.
I think the governor is pretty foolish saying what he said because I've gotten a hold of it. We won't let it go. We'll look into it. Then, if he's knowingly harboring and concealing an illegal alien, that's a violation of Title VIII, United States Code 1324. I will seek prosecution, or the Secretary will seek prosecution.
And then soon after the mounting backlash, Murphy's office scrambled to clarify. They insisted the person in question was still in the US legally, but still in the process of securing their status. But the damage was done. The controversy had exploded. Now New Jersey isn't the only state bracing for battle. California Attorney General Rob Bonta has also vowed to fight back against Trump's latest wave of immigration. Bonta has doubled down on his promise of keeping illegal immigrants living in California safe and secure, including keeping illegal immigrants that are in schools away from ICE agents.
We want to make sure our schools have all the information and all the resources they need so they don't get bullied or confused into violating any student's rights. I want to encourage schools to immediately contact legal counsel if they receive any request from ICE or find ICE agents on campus. But let me be clear. The President's order has no impact on California's law generally precluding state and local officials from assisting with federal government with immigration enforcement. The federal government cannot commandeer us, conscript us. State and local law enforcement or state public institutions to carry out their inhumane policies. They may do their job lawfully, but they cannot force the state or local law enforcement agencies to do their job for them.
Democrats in California are reacting to Trump rescinding a policy that prevented ICE from arresting undocumented migrants at schools, churches and hospitals, regardless of their age and gender. The result, immigrant families are pulling their children out of classes, terrified that ICE agents could show up at any moment.
On the other side, I have like Immigrants Built America, because who's someone who does your crops? It's immigrants. They're the ones in the fields. Who picks up your trash? It's immigrants. They're the ones that are cleaning out the offices, the bathrooms, everywhere you work. They're the ones that clean up. They're not the ones that are sitting in an office desk doing paperwork. They're the ones behind everything.
But Bonta is holding his ground. He's having none of it. He declared that California schools are and will remain a welcoming, inclusive and safe place for all. He wants school leaders to be resolute and resist ICE if agents show up on campuses.
No matter how you look, where you're from, what language you speak, how you pray, who you love, or how you identify. That includes ensuring that our schools are welcoming, inclusive, and safe for all students and educators. All Californians will always have an ally in me.
The teachers' unions are mobilizing. School officials are scrambling to protect students, and Democratic governors are bracing for legal battles. Without a doubt, Trump's first 15 days back in office have sent shockwaves through the country. Murphy, Bonta and other blue state leaders are standing firm, and their battle lines are drawn. The real question is, how far will Trump and his border czar go, and who will be left standing?
Palestine and Egypt have both rejected President Trump's proposal that displaced Palestinians in Gaza be permanently resettled outside the war-torn territory. While visiting Cairo, top Palestinian officials, together with Egypt's foreign minister, swiftly rejected and denounced on Wednesday the U.S. proposal that also seeks to take ownership of the enclave. Trump's suggestion came at a White House news conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, where he detailed a plan to build new settlements for Palestinians outside the Gaza Strip and for the U.S. to take ownership in redeveloping the war-torn territory into the Riviera of the Middle East. Palestinians, on the other hand, say that Trump's proposal for Gaza violates international law. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas called for the United Nations to protect the Palestinian people and their inalienable rights, saying that what Trump wanted to do will be a serious violation of international law. Other leaders, like British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, says Palestinians must be allowed to return to their homes in Gaza. The Kremlin also reaffirmed on Wednesday that the creation of a Palestinian state is essential for the Middle East settlement.
The world is waking up to shocking statements from U.S. President Donald Trump about the future of the Middle East.
And I don't want to be cute, I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad, this could be so magnificent.
After meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington, Trump says the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip amid the ongoing conflict in the region.
Então não tem sentido o presidente dos Estados Unidos se reunir com o presidente dos Estados Unidos, de Israel, o Netanyahu, e dizer, olha, nós vamos ocupar Gaza, e vamos recuperar Gaza, e vamos morar em Gaza, e os palestinos vão para onde? Aonde que eles vão viver? Qual o país deles? O que aconteceu em Gaza foi genocídio, e eu, sinceramente, não sei se os Estados Unidos, que faz parte de tudo isso, seria o país para tentar cuidar de Gaza.
Many of us were alarmed to hear President Trump speak about forcibly displacing 1.8 million people from Gaza. The Prime Minister has spoken to the President on several occasions now. Does he personally believe that Trump recognises the dangers of statements like this to the fragile ceasefire in Gaza and indeed to the security of both Palestinians and Israelis?
They must be allowed home. They must be allowed to rebuild, and we should be with them in that rebuild on the way to a two-state solution.
中方始终认为，8人制8是加沙战后治理的基本原则。我们反对针对加沙民众的强制迁移，希望有关各方以加沙停火和战后治理为契机，推动巴勒斯坦问题重回以两国方案为基础政治解决的正确轨道，实现中东的持久和平。
I'm not going to have a running commentary on statements by the President of the United States. I've made that very clear. What I would say is that Australia's position is the same as it was this morning, as it was last year, and it was 10 years ago, and it was under the Howard government. The Australian government support, on a bipartisan basis, a two-state solution in the Middle East.
Prime Minister, you said earlier today that it was tough for you to implement these sanctions on Iran, but you did indicate that you were willing to negotiate with them. What would that look like, and are you in conversations with them? And the same for the Prime Minister.
I hated doing it. I want Iran to be peaceful and successful. I hated doing it. I did it once before, and we brought them down to a level where they were unable to give any money. They had to survive themselves, and they had no money. They were essentially broke, and they had no money for, as I said, Hezbollah. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for any form of terror. The 28, if you call it, the 28 sites of terror, they had no money for any of it. They had to do their own and focus on their own well-being. And I hated to do it then, and I hate to do it just as much now. And I say this, and I say this to Iran, who's listening very intently. I would love to be able to make a great deal, a deal where you can get on with your lives and you'll do wonderfully. You'll do wonderfully. Incredible people, industrious, beautiful, just an unbelievable group of people in Iran.
and I know them well, have many friends from Iran and many friends that are Americans from Iran, and they're very proud of Iran. But I hated to do it, just so you understand. And I hope we're going to be able to do something so that it doesn't end up in a very catastrophic situation. I don't want to see that happen. I really want to see peace, and I hope that we're able to do that. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. I'm not putting restrictions. They cannot have one thing. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. And if I think that they will have a nuclear weapon, despite what I just said, I think that's going to be very unfortunate for them. If, on the other hand, they can convince us that they won't, and I hope they can. It's very easy to do. It's actually very easy to do. I think they're going to have an unbelievable future. Yeah, please, sir.
And of course, we can't end without talking about you-know-who, Elon Musk. Known for his unfiltered takes, the billionaire is once again pushing the limits on work-life balance, this time by boasting that employees at his White House-backed Department of Government Efficiency are clocking in a whopping 120-hour work weeks. Now, according to Musk, bureaucrats are losers for working 40 hours a week and never in the office on the weekends. This latest workaholic manifesto follows similar controversial remarks by Indian business leaders advocating for a 70 to 90-hour work week. But Musk, never one to be outdone, has set the bar for pure exhaustion. Our next report dives into the controversy.
Elon Musk has never been one to filter his thoughts. Whether he's naming his child something that sounds like a Wi-Fi password, live tweeting business decisions that cost him billions, or challenging Mark Zuckerberg to a cage fight, the man loves saying things that make the internet collectively raise an eyebrow. His latest gem, declaring that working weekends is a superpower. Employees of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, are already doing that, which is why the government bureaucrats are losing so fast, because they dare to enjoy a 40-hour work week. His words, not ours. Musk, who leads Tesla, SpaceX, X, and now the White House's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, recently bragged that his new government task force is clocking in 120-hour work weeks. That's 17 hours a day, 7 days a week. Apparently, bathroom breaks and sleep are for the week. Musk wrote on X that very few in the bureaucracy actually work the weekend. So it's like the opposing team just leaves the field for 2 days. Working the weekend is a superpower, he stated, because nothing says government efficiency like a billionaire trashing weekends on a platform he owns. Musk has been on a hiring spree. He's looking for what he calls super high IQ small government revolutionaries. Musk wants employees who are willing to work over 80 hours a week, doing the thrilling job of cost cutting. No word on whether there's an employee discount on therapy bills. Of course, this isn't the first time Musk has treated work-life balance like an optional add-on. When he took over Twitter in 2022, he famously gave employees a choice: commit to an extremely hardcore work environment or take 3 months of severance pay. More than half of the company's 4,000 employees chose the latter, presumably because they enjoy things like sleep, personal relationships, and not collapsing from exhaustion. Musk himself has long claimed to work 120-hour work weeks, especially during Tesla's early days. He often slept in the office to lead by example. Some call it dedication, others call it a billionaire's inability to delegate. Musk's 120-hour workweek decree comes hot on the heels of a debate sparked by Indian business leaders. L&T chairman S.N. Subramaniam suggests employees should work 90 hours a week, while Infosys co-founder Narayana Murthy advocates for a 70-hour work week. Both ideas were met with immediate backlash. But leave it to Musk to take things up a notch, because why settle for a grueling work schedule when you can go full dystopian sweatshop? In Musk's utopia, weekends are for the weak, 120-hour work weeks are the norm, and burnout is just another word for pushing through. So if you're a super high IQ revolutionary who enjoys sleep deprivation, extreme job insecurity, and working every waking minute of your life, congratulations, Elon Musk is looking for you. For everyone else, maybe just enjoy your weekend while you still can.